guys, it's Sam, and today I'm going to do the Booktube Oldie tag. This is something that I saw Audrey of Perpetual Pages do, so I will link their video and the original video down below. This is a take on the Booktube newbie tag, which a lot of people do when they first start, and this is for all of us oldies that have been around a long time. So question number one, how long have you been part of the Booktube community? So as I mentioned in my wrap-up that I posted recently, my 6th year on Booktube anniversary was the 4th of July. So been around 6 whole years with Booktube. Number two, what was your biggest misconception before starting Booktube? I didn't really have a lot of misconceptions about Booktube because I discovered it and basically jumped in right away. I wasn't a long-time viewer where I was able to really get a lot of opinions. I found Booktube, wanted to talk about books, had wanted to have a channel on YouTube for a while, but didn't really feel I had a lot of expertise in other areas of YouTube where I could get into a channel, like a beauty channel or anything like that. So when I found Booktube, I basically immediately jumped in because I wanted to talk about books with people and I didn't really have any friends in real life that talked about it. So I think my misconception maybe was that I wasn't going to necessarily make friends and lasting friendships and people I'd meet in real life. I never expected that. I never expected to have multiple group chats with people from the community and hang out with them and all of that. So I think I didn't expect it to get as deep as it's gotten. Number three, how do you think Booktube has changed since you first started? A lot of stuff has changed. Our willingness to critique and do fully fleshed out reviews has changed a lot. That is much more popular now than it was in the beginning. When I first started, I was really hesitant to even post a 3-star review because anything but positivity on Booktube was frowned upon. So the fact that we are now really encouraged by the audience even to actually talk about all of our feelings is great, because I always came in wanting to talk about and talking about all of my feelings about a book, positive and negative. So that is very different. There's also a lot more diversity on Booktube. It can always improve, obviously, but at the beginning it was really hard to find anybody doing anything different with their content, but also people of different sexualities, different races, different ethnicities, cultures, things like that. So we've gotten better, although we're always improving, as our current situation has definitely shown. There's more of a variety in the genres of books that people are reading, so even though it's still hard to find those niche channels, if people are reading more niche genres, you can definitely find a wide variety. You know, now we have a bunch of romance specific booktubers. The SFF community continues to grow. It's not just YA and YA fantasy or anything, so there's a big range of people reading all different kinds of books and even getting more niche than just the genres I just said. So that's very different. I think the understanding of how publishing works is different. There's still a lot of misconceptions among viewership, especially about how publishing works and how even sponsorship works for people and things like that, but there's much more of an understanding and people are much more vocal about that than they used to be. Also, with what I was saying about the more fully fleshed out reviews, I think the rise of really loving more negative reviews and negative content and gripes about things and rants and stuff, there are whole channels now devoted to just ranting about books. So that's completely different from the beginning when I started as well. We also have much more of our conversation on Twitter than we do on YouTube. I feel and I mentioned this, I've done a video on it, I'll link it on the screen. I do miss the times when we'd had more video discussions about things, because now it seems like all the discussions are always on Twitter. But for the longest time, we didn't even have discussions at all. Then we were having discussion videos, and now there's a lot of discussion threads on Twitter. So yeah, a lot has changed since I started Booktube. Number four is, what is your favorite Booktube memory? And oh my gosh, I have a lot. A lot of them have been in-person interactions, so there's a lot that stick out to me, but I have met many friends at events and through not even planning on meeting these people. So Nova Teen Book Festival, I actually met 2 of my closest friends through that festival separately, separate years. So one is Caitlin from Book Chats. She's also part of the team for BookNet Fest, and then Sam from Will Read for Booze, who's a blogger that came up to me and was just like, hey, you want to go get a drink? And I'm like, yes. So that's great. So now I'm really close friends with all of them. Obviously, all the events that I've gone to over the years where I've met all of my Booktube friends. Now we have a book club, which is really fun. We do family vacations together. One of them got married and I went to their wedding before this whole coronavirus thing started. Starting BookNet Fest is great with Madi, for My Name is Madi Inez. So that has been a really great, wonderful memory every year of doing that. Getting to meet Sarah Jane from the Book Life who's somebody else that I met, my best friend from Booktube that I met through Booktube. So that was great. That was a few years ago now, sad face, but that was a wonderful memory. So a lot of in-person memories. And then as far as like online stuff, I mean, when I got to tell all of you that I was cancer-free, that was fucking bomb. And just all the interactions I've had with a lot of you throughout the years, whether it's been on here, whether it's been on like Discord groups now. We have like a Discord group where a lot of us talk for Patreon. I also have another like woo-woo Discord group, and like all the people who I'm just so used to seeing and talking to on Twitter and in comments and stuff. Yeah, I have a lot of very positive Booktube memories that I wouldn't have had at all without Booktube. Number 5 is, what is some books that you were introduced to because of Booktube? All of them. All of them. All of them. I mean, I read the Abhorsen series before Booktube. Otherwise all of them. Number 6, what is something that frustrates you about Booktube? Like I already mentioned, I don't love that we've moved to Twitter as a platform, although that's like kind of unavoidable as far as discussions and stuff, but I just feel like that medium is not a productive place for conversation and change and growth, and I wish there was somewhere else. But that's what we have right now to work with. So yeah. The other thing that really annoys me about Booktube is that people will, and people do this online in general, but people will say like, no one's talking about this book, no one's talking about this thing, no one's talking about this topic, I can't find channels to talk about this, all these channels only do wrap-ups and hauls and I'm sick of seeing that. And it's like, you aren't even trying. Like, there are channels that talk about everything. You just need to look. And I know that YouTube makes it like almost impossible, so that's a thing that is challenging because the YouTube algorithm and recommends and search function are garbage. So I know how hard it is to find people who talk about the things you want to talk about, but it just takes a little bit of effort. So I wish that people would try a little bit more instead of saying Booktube does this. No, we are not just the top 5 creators and what they do and talk about. We are so much more than that, and there are so many niches and so many people doing creative things, and you just need to look for them. So every time somebody says that people aren't doing such and such, I'm mad, no matter what they're talking about. I also really don't like, and this is an online thing in general, that people will always want to do something themselves instead of supporting the people that are already doing it. There are so many content creators that are doing really cool things, whether it's events like Booknet Fest or, you know, certain kinds of reviews or whatever, and I always hear people say like, no one's doing this, so I'm gonna do it, and then you're like, here's 5 people that are doing this. And not saying that you can't do that, but why don't you support and put your voice behind, especially a lot of these marginalized creators, because this happens a lot with marginalized creators where it's like, no one's doing this, and you're like, but they've been doing it. But if you say it, I guess it'll get, you know, you more likes and karma and everything else. But like, can you support the people that have already been doing the thing instead of acting like you're the most unique person that's the only one that's done this thing? Can you tell that's something that really annoys me? Yeah, because I see it a lot. And that's not even just saying it about like myself or the projects that I'm a part of, but like I see it happen so much where people will just say that they don't see this thing and that they're gonna do it and they're gonna be original, and I'm like, it's not actually, no one has an original thought anymore, typically speaking. Like, no one can claim to be this like original creator that does like this new stuff. It's just maybe you have more eyes on you. So please support the people that are doing good things and cool things. Help them. And number 7, what are your hopes for the future of Booktube? It's so hard to say because who would have thought 5 years ago that we'd be here? That is a video that Sweeney from Sweeney Says sent me, and I've thought about that for the last few days. So can't predict a lot of that, but I do hope that we get better at discussions, that we get better at growth and changing behavior, that I hope that there's another way to have the discussions we're having so that we can really actively create change and promote people, that we just continue to expand, and that maybe YouTube or another platform make it easier to find each other so that we can expand and grow. I would like publishing and just like the community in general to continue to uplift the online book community and support them for all of the free work that we do for them. And yeah, I hope that we continue to positively influence the book world and, like I said, continue to grow and continue to learn and just continue to do better. I don't know, I don't really have like hopes even for my own individual channel anymore because I can't predict anything, so I've just kind of been like, universe, whatever happens, happens. And that's kind of how I feel about the whole of Booktube in general because I can't predict anything anymore. So that is it for the Booktube Oldie tag. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts about some of these questions. I'm gonna tag a few people, which I haven't done for a while in tags. So I'm gonna tag a bunch of oldies but goodies. I'm gonna tag Sarah Jane from The Book Life. I'm gonna tag Maddie from My Name is Maddie Inez. Basically bully both of them into filming content. I'm gonna tag Lainey from Gingery's Lainey, even though I know that she's mostly an author tuber now, but I would really like to hear her opinion. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts on these questions. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.